Going to begin. This technically is our last electronic meeting and the last council meeting of the term. So I'm going to pass it over to Councillor Foss. He will be chairing the meeting this evening. Councillor Foss.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. I think we have everyone in attendance. Do we, Judy?
Yes, we do.
And this being our last meeting and my last meeting for sure, I'll try not to keep you too long tonight. It looks like we should get through everything pretty quickly. So if you bear with us, Judy, did you want to do the land acknowledgement, please?
Yes, thank you. We acknowledge that we are on the lands of Anishinaabe Nation. This spot where we gather is the traditional lands of the Three Fires Confederacy, the Ottawa, Potawatomi, and Ojibwe. We also recognize that this land is now home to the Delaware Nation. This land was settled through the McKee Purchase Treaty of 1790, and we as beneficiaries of the treaty must recognize our responsibilities, including our collective responsibilities to the land and water. Mr. Chair, we do not have a supplementary agenda item this evening, and we have one disclosure of pecuniary interest. That is Councillor Kirkwood White with regards to item 10F, the application for zoning bylaw amendment, United Way of Chatham-Kent at 425 McNaughton Ave West. We'll pass it over to Planning Services. Ryan or Anthony?
Sorry, can you hear me, Judy?
Yes, I can hear you now.
The screen is set?
We can see the screen, yes.
Okay, great, thanks. So planning meeting process, the process to be followed for each application will be as follows. The clerk will announce each individual planning item. The clerk will advise if any written submissions have been received regarding a planning item. If so, the clerk will read the written submissions that have been received. For any items where a written submission is received, the administration will proceed with the presentation. Council will be asked if it has any questions of administration or the applicant if present, and council will be asked what action it wishes to take with regard to the item. Notice, if any person or public body that files an appeal of a decision of council in respect of the proposed applications does not make a written submission to the municipal clerk of the corporation of the municipality of Chatham-Kent, they are not entitled to appeal a decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal if otherwise eligible, unless in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to add the person or public body as a party to the appeal. Information on council's actions tonight will be posted on the municipal website. All persons who have made a request or who have made a submission regarding a particular planning item will receive a notice of council's decision, including appeal procedures. Any other person who wishes to receive a notice of decision must submit a written request to municipal clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go on to 10A, applications for consent and zoning bylaw amendment. Don Hotham, 29399 and 29425, Flat Rock Road, Community of Camden, East Kent. Mr. Chair, we do not have any deputations, and I do have the applicant on the line. Okay,
thank you, Judy. Can I get Councillor Pinsino to move this application and Councillor Wright to second it?
Happy to move it, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions, concerns? Any opposed? That application is approved.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Chair, we have to go through the automatic, the electronic voting.
Right.
It would go a lot faster if we did it your way, but.
I'm trying.
Yeah, Meredith will put it on the screen now. There we go.
Okay, sorry. I'm not being able to click on it.
Nobody is yet, so we'll have Meredith restart it.
Okay.
There we go. Nope, it's still not working.
Yeah, I can't see it, Judy.
Okay, so let's close it out and Meredith will try one more time. There we go. Just waiting for one more. And the answers are still the same as we did at Councillor Foss's way. All votes are in and motion passes 18-0. We'll move on to 10B, application for zoning bylaw amendment. Javril Boxon, 136 Railroad Street, Community of Thamesville, East Kent. And we do not have any deputations on this, and the applicant is not on the call.
Okay, Councillor Wright, would you move this application and Councillor Pincinel second it?
I'll move it. Thank you.
And I'll second it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We'll put it to a vote.
All votes are in, motion passes 18-0. Moving on to 10C, applications for consent and zoning bylaw amendment. Chris Quinton, 14509 Talbot Trail, Community of Orford, East Kent. There are no deputations on the matter and the applicant is not on the call.
Councillor Pincinel, can I get you to move it and Councillor Wright to second it?
Yeah, I'd like to move that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it. Thank you.
Great. We'll put it to a vote.
All votes are in, motion passes 18-0. Moving on to 10D, applications for consent and zoning bylaw amendment 484852 Ontario Inc. 519 Talbot Trail, Community of Tilbury East, West Kent. There are no deputations on the application and the applicant is not on the call.
Councillor Harrigan, can I get you to move it and Councillor Oche to second it?
Yes, so moved.
So seconded.
Thank you. Any questions? We'll put it to a vote.
All votes are in, motion passes 18-0. 10E, application for zoning bylaw amendment. John and Joyce Weaver, 11652 Longwoods Road, Community of Camden, East Kent. There are no deputations on the matter and the applicant is not on the call.
Can I get you, Councillor Wright, to move it and Councillor Pincinel to second it?
I'll move it. Thank you.
Okay,
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
great, thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote.
All votes are in, motion passes 18-0. Moving on to item 10F, application for zoning bylaw amendment, United Way of Chatham-Kent, 425 McNaughton Ave West, Community of Chatham City. Mr. Chair, we have a conflict of interest on this one by Councillor Kirkwood-White. We have received 6 deputations in a petition on this particular matter. However, we have received a letter from the applicant and it was forwarded to council this afternoon. It states that the application has been scheduled for consideration on October 17th, 2022 at the municipal council meeting. We understand that there have been concerns raised by the residents in the surrounding neighborhood by the application. We respectfully request a postponement of consideration of the application, and we ask that the matter be postponed to the next practical meeting date that would allow for a desirable level of transparency to council so that we may address the concerns raised by the neighbors. This was submitted by Barbara Pallas, the CEO of the United Way of Chatham-Kent, who is on the call this evening. And therefore, we have a motion if council would consider it.
Okay. I understand Councillor Finn, you wanted to put that motion forward to defer.
I'd be happy to put that forward.
Okay. And can I get Councillor Crew to second that?
Happy to second it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, it's Judy. Just to, if this is going to be postponed, rather than read the deputations this evening, due to it being the last meeting of the term of council, we felt that perhaps if the motion passes that we wouldn't read the deputations and allow for the new term of council to hear the deputations in full.
Okay, that sounds good. Is anybody opposed to any of that? Okay, we can put it to vote then, I guess, Judy.
All votes are in and motion passes 17-0. Moving on to the last planning application for this evening, 10G, application for zoning bylaw amendment. Chatham-Kent Recycling, Inc., 6584 Middle Line, Community of Raleigh, South Kent. We have received 5 deputations on this item also, and the applicant is on the call. Again, similar, administration has heard that there may be a motion put to the floor with regards to postponing this. And so we could go to that motion first. And if it doesn't pass, then we could read the deputations following that, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor Thompson, I understand you're wanting to move this to defer.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would move the planning application file D14 RA Inc. be postponed to the November 28th Planning Council meeting and that no further public notice be required.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Sakachi, can I get you to second that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, more than happy to second that motion, sir.
Okay. Is there any?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, just Judy, one more time, just to come in. These deputations would then be brought forward to that meeting and we would still receive further deputations. We just wouldn't require public notice to be posted again, just to clarify for council.
Okay. Is there any questions or comments on this motion? Hearing none, we'll put it
Yep,
to
Councillor Foss, we do. We have Councillor Oche and Councillor Sakachi with their hands up.
Okay, okay, sorry. Councillor Oche?
Actually, mine was for the other motion that I just put forward. So I will put my hand down for this one.
Okay, and Councillor Sakachi?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just putting my my hand up there to second the motion there, and for some reason was not able to lower it. So just looking forward to the support so we can do this. The intent was always to come back, I think, November 28th, but because this meeting was added, it's coming on to this meeting here. So just hopefully that we can do this in, or the council of that term can do it, in council chambers. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing none other or hearing none other, we'll put it to vote then.
All votes are in, motion passes 18-0.
Okay. Okay, I guess we can move into non-agenda business now. Councillor True.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you for acknowledging me. I want to, I'm going to take a minute. I want to thank Councillor Foss and Councillor Solomon for their collective 80 plus years serving our community. I'm going to tell a couple short stories about what we're losing here today. When I was first elected in 2006, I was very nervous. Election night, with all the celebrations and things that we've all, had with families and friends around us, in the door walked the most intimidating person that I know or knew then was Councillor Solomon and his father. I was shocked and stunned, and as a young councillor, he was right up there with the best of them. He gave me some really good advice that night, and he just told me, he said, "You just be yourself, and you'll be fine." All the years, around that table, listening to his wisdom and his stories about the Widow on Willimac, reminding us who we worked for, has not gone unnoticed. The other, I want to talk about my friend Joe, Gentleman Joe, he is known as. I was lucky enough my first term to sit around that horseshoe, and on one side of me was Gentleman Joe Foss, and on the other side was Councillor Don Clark. I was so lucky to have those two mentors sitting on both sides of me with their eyes on every different spot of the municipality and every different business unit, and their experience and their wisdom. And, you know, some of the things I remember Joe would tell me, you don't need to talk so much, hush. And I would just giggle because he knew I wasn't. I just put my hand up and smile at him. But and then as a young counselor, I went to AMO a couple times, and both times I was lucky enough to have Gentleman Joe Foss as a mentor and a guide to helping a few of us counselors through. Just follow me, kid. I'll show you where to go and who to talk to. So, you know, I don't think I'm the only one with those kind of stories, but the thing that I want to say the most in that we are losing mentors to all of us who have been around that horseshoe, even the new people. And we were really unlucky to be hit with the last couple years of sitting here virtually, because I'd certainly be giving you all a big hug today because of what you've instilled in all of us and given us. And I want to say thank you for your 80 plus years of service to both of you. And I just hope that we can be us people who are there today. And if we're lucky enough to be reelected as many times as you have been, that we will be the mentors and supporters to the young and new counselors that are coming on board, that you have given, both of you, to our community. So I want to say thank you. All the best to both of you. And I just want to say, I want to recognize Councillor Oche for his years of service as well. And I know he'll continue on working for the community, as I'm sure Councillor Solomon and Councillor Foss will. But on behalf of people in our community who voted for you and trusted you, and on behalf of the councillors of the last, at least since I've been there, I know that we will miss your guidance and mentorship. So all the best to you both, and thank you from all of us. That's what I had to say, Joe.
Okay. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have put you on.
I know.
Anyway, thanks very much, Marjorie. Those are kind words. Thank you. Appreciate it. Councillor McGrill.
Thank you. So mine is in the same lines, obviously. Joe has been my counterpart for North Kent for the last 4 years, and I appreciate every bit of guidance he's given me, you know, calling him up, you know, and just bouncing off each other, you know, thoughts on different things. I don't know if Joe remembers this or not, but Joe actually sold me my first car. And I'll always remember that, and those times we had during those days of buying vehicles and stuff like that. So thank you very much. We'll miss you very much. Councillor Solomon and Councillor Oche, thank you too for everything you've done and helped me with. And I wish you all the best. So good luck.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate those kind remarks. And I do remember you buying the first car. Councillor Harrigan.
Great, thank you. Just building off the sentiments that have been shared this evening, I'd like to draw everyone's attention to my ward and my councillor colleague, Mark Ochier, who is also in his last meeting tonight. I remember when I was considering running for election, Mark and I met for coffee at the Tim Hortons in Tilbury, and he was able to tell me all of the different roles and responsibilities of a councillor, and really cheered me on to encourage me to just go for it. So many people know Mark, and I would fall in this category of, before he was a councillor, he was a doer in our town. So Mark is incredibly involved and has been incredibly involved with the Kinsman Club in Merlin. He has single-handedly kept baseball alive in the town of Merlin, working with the Kinsman Group to provide recreation and sports for those young kids, heavily involved in the Legion, and him and Lynn work with many groups in the Tilbury area to put on events that you would think have an army, but actually just have a carload of people who are doing this work. So Mark, your commitment to the towns of Tilbury, Wheatley, and Merlin are ones that certainly do not go unnoticed. We will miss you around the council table, but know that your dedication and commitment to our communities, all three of them, is not going to go away anytime soon. And I'm really pleased to have learned from you as a counselor. I'm really honored to call you a friend of our families and a friend of our community. So thank you for all of your work these last 8 years. I also have some business that I would like to bring up in non-agenda items, if I may, Mr. Chair, and that's just surrounding an issue that took place at the Wheatley Arena recently. Wheatley Sharks Junior C game was actually called off mid-game because of ice conditions, and it was quite concerning to members of the community and people who are watching that game. So I'm just wondering if through staff we can get a status update around what took place on that night and what we are able to do to reassure that that's not going to happen at these future Junior C games.
Thank you, Chair Foss. This is Chris Teber, Director of Engineering, Acting General Manager. I will address the question here. So on October the 12th of this year, there was an issue with the ice at the Wheatley Arena during the Wheatley Sharks game. So staff were made aware of the issue and they examined the problem. So arena staff patched the section of ice that had been damaged and informed the referees and the team that the ice was in fact safe to use and to continue to play. But the referees didn't agree with the arena staff and decided to suspend the game, which they do have every right to do. Arena staff are trained on ice maintenance and how to rectify these situations, including when the ice is safe or unsafe for play. Staff does have the ability to cancel bookings in those situations. However, in this situation, staff did address the ice issue and indicated that the game could continue. But the referees decided that they would suspend the game. So administration is aware of times in the past in this arena that has had some minor issues, but staff have always fixed the area, and no games were ever suspended as a result of this. Should be noted that all arenas do have the possible problem when making artificial ice, when the main area is being along the boards, and especially near the lobby ends, where there's a heat transfer to the ice sheet, especially during the couple months of installing the ice when the outside temperature is higher and it's more difficult to keep the facility at cold temperatures. So patching of ice does occur in all of our arenas as a result of this, as the ice can crack or chip for many different reasons, and staff are trained to fix these issues as soon as they occur. So since this situation, staff have been doing the following to address this issue to prevent this from occurring again. They will be monitoring the area daily, additional depth checks in the area to ensure that the ice is thick enough and safe for play, building up the ice in that area to make the ice thicker, reducing the use of a piece of equipment called an edger in this particular area, and also avoid using the board brush in this area as well. So by doing so, we're confident that we'll be able to get us through the remainder of this year with the ice and accommodate the remainder of all the games. After the ice season is over, staff are going to be examining this area to see what can be done to prevent this from happening again in future ice seasons. So we are planning to take out all the ice and do a careful review of this particular area. At this time, we do not know the extent of the work that will need to be done. We'll make sure that we bring that forward to council as soon as we do know. Taking the steps mentioned will hopefully prevent this from happening during the rest of the ice season. And also after the ice is out, we'll make sure that it can be prevented in the future as well.
Thanks, Chris. Do you have any further on that, Councilor Harrigan?
No follow-up. I just really appreciate the public sharing of what took place and how it is we're going to prevent this going forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other anyone else presenting any new business?
Yes, Councillor Foss, we have Councillor Sakachi has his hand up, and then if I could have a chance to speak at the end, thanks.
Okay, great. Go ahead, Councillor Sakachi.
Mr. Chair, I'm not going to continue to say everything that everybody has already said, but I just wanted to personally thank yourself, Mr. Councillor Oche, as well as Councillor Doug Solomon for all the conversations, phone calls, and talking me through it. You get kind of thrown into it as a councillor, and both yourself and Councillor Solomon were always very helpful. And I just wanted to make one comment too, is that obviously over this term we've seen some very challenging circumstances with COVID and the pandemic, and I really do think that the entire clerk's office and the team need to be given some extended thank yous because of the fact of it's been a kind of a ongoing and multi-pronged approach to trying to get through these meetings, and I look forward to the new council. Hopefully it's myself or whoever's on there going to in-person meetings for the community, but I think all together we've really seen some challenges, and kind of going with the flow, going virtually. I think the whole team deserves some props and making sure that we didn't miss a beat. So thank you, Councillor Solomon, thank you, Councillor Foz, and thank you, Councillor Oche, and thank you to the team for ensuring that we didn't miss a beat, and wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you in person someday in the near future.
Thank you, Councillor Sakachi. Judy, did you want to?
Yeah, I have one more. Councillor Bondi just raised his hand.
Okay, go ahead. Councillor Bondi.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Councillor Joe. Again, I guess I'm repeating a lot of the same things, but I feel it's necessary to publicly acknowledge from myself my appreciation of yourself, Joe. I sat beside you, as you probably would like to forget, for my first term. But hundreds of times I would lean over and ask you, what are we talking about? How does this work? And you were very, very generous with your experience and your knowledge in helping me get through it. Because as Anthony mentioned, there's not really a lot of training when it comes to council. You're sort of thrown into it, and you were great. And I had Councillor Gilbert on the other side of me, so I had two very experienced councillors. But tonight regarding yourself, I again want to thank you for that. That those 4 years, I don't know if I would have gotten through it the way I did without you. And of course, there's Councillor Solomon, who was a friend of mine before I was elected and has become a much better friend over the last 12 years of my time on council. And we collectively, as a council and as a community, are going to miss both you guys. Your experience and your sort of sage wisdom has really meant a lot and grounded us, because a lot of the new people don't get it, don't understand the process, how things work, don't know to ask the questions that you guys know how to ask. So that's been very important. So farewell and thank you. And of course, not forgetting Councillor Oche, who's been a great voice over the last 8 years, has become a friend of mine, a valued friend. So he will be missed. And again, I personally thank the three of you for your service and your help. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Councillor Bondi. Before we go to Judy, did Councillor Solomon or Oche want to make any comments?
Age before beauty there, Doug.
I was going to say that it should be done alphabetically like the ballot. So Mark should go first, but no, I'm just wondering what day our pensions start. I hope the people who are listening to this realize we don't get any. that I was just teasing. No, it's been a great experience. I'm going to miss the people that I've interacted with, both as counselors and as staff, who are very professional. What I'm going to miss the most is serving the public in an elected office. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try and serve them some other way. I'm active in charitable matters and other matters, and I hope to continue to do that. And I'm very happy not to have pounded up signs nor shaken hands and kissed babies for the last several weeks. So that's it, and I'll miss you all.
Thank you, Councillor Solomon. Councillor Oche.
Thank you, Joe. Or Councillor Foss, sorry. I'd like to thank everyone tonight here at council, the staff who, believe me, I've had numerous questions through the years who have been able to help me out with that. The voters in Ward 1 who put me in this seat. I thank you, and I thank them for their confidence in me through the last 8 years. And I just hope whoever does get in does a great job for the ward and for Chatham-Kent overall. But the companionship between our council, I definitely will miss, as well as helping people out in the community. But I still will be in the community doing many of the things that I do now, and probably more in my spare time. But thanks, everyone.
Maybe I'll jump in ahead of you, Judy. Is that all right to make my comments?
Absolutely.
I really appreciated my term on council, and I remember when I first ran, I went to Dr. Gibbs. He was a doctor in the town and a former mayor. And I said to him, I'm here for your support and your advice. And he told me if I lose, I'd be the winner. And I was a little intimidated by him to start with. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, if you have control of 40% of the budget, you'll be lucky. And that was a very true statement. Over the years, I've had a lot of great experiences, met a lot of good people, and a lot of people have made me look good by the support they gave me. So I know that we've had some trying times, and I guess the last 4 years have been the most trying. And I'm not sure if we hadn't met in person, we might have done things a little better than we did them. And I'll never know that for sure. But I do feel that we missed a lot, and we didn't accomplish what we could have accomplished if we'd have met in person. I'd like to thank everybody that I worked with over the last 4 years. It's been trying because of the Erie Shore road disaster, the Wheatley issue, and COVID-19, and how the staff in every department sort of came to the bat or came to the plate and knew exactly what to do to get us through that. And I just can't say enough about how well everybody worked together during those trying times. So anyway, I'll probably miss parts of it. There's other parts I won't miss. And one thing for sure, I won't miss Monday nights. Anyway, thank you. Judy?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Voss. Two things. First of all, we will have these councillors come back to our in-person meeting. We are aiming for December 5th to recognize them and present them with their gifts. So your invitation is in the mail, Councillor Voss, Councillor Oche, and Councillor Salmon. The last thing that I wanted to mention is just for the public, that the inaugural meeting and swearing in ceremony for the next term of council will take place on Tuesday, November 15th at 6 p.m. at the Capitol Theatre, and this is open to the public. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll pass it back to you for the reading of the bylaws.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the first and second readings of the bylaw?
Thank you, Councillor Foss. I will move.
Thank you.
First and second reading.
And I would second that.
Thank you, Councillor Oche. Is there any opposed? Can I have a motion that we approve the third reading of the bylaws?
Councillor Foss.
Approved. Thank you, seconder.
I can do that, Councillor Foss.
Thank you, Councillor McGrail. Any opposed? That motion's carried. Okay, I guess the resolution to Councillor Latimer, please.
Thank you, Acting Chair Foss, that the Chatham-Kent-Council adjourn to its next meeting to be held on Monday, November the 21st, 2022, and that Chatham-Kent-Council authorize itself to meet in closed session on that day to discuss any matters permitted by the Municipal Act.
Okay, a seconder? Counselor Thompson?
Absolutely, love to.
Okay. Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.